Gaming is about escaping into another world. You don't control the character, you are the character.
Whether I'm hunting fearsome monsters or growing the best crops, gaming is how I like to relax.
I like gaming because I can go you know?
They help me escape into a world of pure imagination. Video games. What more could you ask for? Endless possibilities.
What's going on, gamers? It's your boy DiggsGaming. Off Hunting is back.
I'm
back. That is
on,
Jojo,
everybody?
my friends. That is
Jojo
Jojo.
is finally returned, y'all. I'm back specifically for the Game Awards today. It's coming up. There's been a lot of good games. It's been a great year for gaming.
This has been one of the best years of gaming I have ever seen. Maybe the best year of gaming I've ever seen.
So many, we've gotten, all of us old school gamers have been so blessed this year, and then the newer generation's been blessed on top of our blessings. It's been an amazing year.
If there was a year to get the new generation of console or to just start gaming at all,
this year was
this
definitely
year.
the year.
Yeah.
Like post-pandemic, literally just post-pandemic.
It was just hit after
It's
hit
amazing.
after hit after hit after hit. And you know it was a great year when a game like Hogwarts Legacy doesn't even get nominated for anything. And I was shocked when I saw that. What about you, Jojo?
I honestly wasn't too shocked about Hogwarts. In the grand scheme of things, it's like Nintendo is going to keep putting out bangers. They're going to keep putting out bangers. Capcom was sitting on a heater this year. Insomniac and God, who was the other one? I think Gun Media. Gun Media was back at it this year. Insomniac was on it. Square Enix was on it. There's a lot of even NetherRealms was even on it. They were on top of their stuff. Everyone was on top of the majority of the devs were on top of their game this year. It's really hard.
Even Xbox.
Xbox, but Microsoft, Bethesda, everyone was on their top tier game this year. It's hard to put like an official stamp on who the best game. It's gonna come down to the grit and grind at the awards this year.
Pretty much.
It really is.
Well, we're gonna try to go through all this and figure out what's gonna win each category. But first, look at this. Most nominated games. Alan Wake 2 and Baldur's Gate 3 had 8 nominations, and right behind them was Spider-Man 2 with 7. 5 nominees, Hi-Fi Rush, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom.
I'm not too familiar with Hi-Fi Rush either, but I did know, I had no doubt that Mario Wonder and Tears of the Kingdom were going to be highly nominated.
Hi-Fi Rush was the one that Xbox shadow dropped. Believe it was Bethesda that was working on this. One of the Bethesda studios was working on
They dropped it low key without heavy marketing.
And I tell you what, I still think that was a brilliant idea by Xbox because they had been getting such a negative reputation for
the console
not
war
releasing
is still going on, Diggs.
Yeah.
It just comes down to the console war. Everyone is still nitpicky about everything in the console war, even PCs. I know people that will refuse to get PCs and just strictly stick to console, and that's their right. But in my opinion, you don't get to experience a lot of good games that are on the market by not getting a PC, and that's just my opinion.
That's true, but Microsoft needed a banger to start the year, and that was their banger. Even though it was shadow dropped, and we didn't know much about it until it was released.
Dude, even Starfield was low-key shadow dropped. They didn't even push a lot of marketing for that game, and it turned out to be amazing. Amazing play.
You're right. There wasn't as much.
It was a
marketing as
shadow drop. they were basically
going
off
I am just glad
trailers, and that was hit.
I am just glad Starfield turned out as good as it was because I was super nervous about that game.
That's why. It's still why I have an Xbox, even though I'm getting a PS5 this year. I don't care. I'm finally
you get both. You enjoy great games. It's fine.
I'm getting it for Spider-Man 2. I've been dodging so many. Everyone, I have so many. As you know, I'm a Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
And there are so many of my friends that want me to be in their streams, but they're streaming Spider-Man 2 on like certain days. I'm like, dude, I cannot come this day. It's not you. It's that I'm dodging all spoilers so I can play it firsthand. I love you. I just want to experience this game fresh out the box.
Okay, let's stop wasting time. Let's get into these nominees. All right, we're going to start with the esports stuff, and we're not going to make predictions on this because we don't know too much about it.
Well, Diggs, you also neglected to mention that with the most nominated games, with 4 nominees, Cyberpunk 2077 made a comeback with their expansion.
Oh yeah,
thank
you for that.
Fantasy 16 had 4 nominees as well, which it's Final Fantasy. I'm not honestly surprised either.
I haven't played it yet. I played the demo.
I'm waiting to play Final Fantasy 7 before I play any Final Fantasy games. I heard it's the best one.
That's fair.
And then 3 nominees. The 3 nominees at the bottom was RE4 and Street Fighter 6. Now, I'm genuinely shocked that RE4 wasn't higher with the nomination votes.
I'm shocked by that too, especially since
I would have thought that would have been at
one
7.
of the nominees that we're not. I'm not going to say what one of the nominees were, just in case for people that haven't seen it yet. They probably already have seen it, but
the list has only been out for a few days, so it's hit or miss. I guarantee it.
Yeah,
but honestly, like just how long the game has been. Honestly, I'm surprised Dead Space wasn't even on the list. To be completely honest, because that game was visually stunning.
Yeah.
The way that they reworked it for a newer generation of Dead Space fans.
Dead Space probably only got one nominee. You're right.
Yeah, as a longtime Dead Space fan, I thought that was going to be higher because the way that they reinvented it, and it was still just as good playing through it the first time as it was playing the original game. It was basically the original game with updated graphics, but they delved a little bit more into like the backlog, the story, and gave us a little bit more to work with than the original Dead Space 1. And that's one of the reasons why I love it. And I still have it downloaded on my Xbox. It's the reason why they added it to Game Pass. Like they want a lot of people to play this game. And I feel like it's undervalued with the Game Award nominations, but there was also a lot of good games that came out this year. So I can't be too upset about it.
It's kind of a two-way sword because you feel like some of these games should have gotten more nominations, but it's also been such a great year for gaming that, I mean, we're seeing games. I was talking about Hogwarts Legacy, and any other year, that's probably one of the nominees for Game of the Year, and it got no nominations. That's the whole thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like one of these games just couldn't be nominated for something, and it had to be Hogwarts Legacy. I feel bad for the development team, but they did a fantastic
I feel like
game.
If anything, they'll probably win like a comeback game or something once they add more DLCs and everything. They have the potential to do that. Like, cause I mean, think about it. That's a massive universe.
All right,
let's dive into these nominees, Diggs.
All right, and we're starting with best esports events.
We're going reverse order, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Now Diggs and I will both go on record and say that we are not big into the esports branch of the gaming world. We are not heavy hitters. We don't know exactly what we're talking about, but we are familiar with a little bit. The nominees this year were pretty honestly scripted, but it's kind of like it doesn't really change every year. There's never really a lot of changing constant with it. It was the 2023 League of Legends World Championship, Blast.tv Paris, Evo,
of course,
the Dota Championships, and then the Valorant Championships.
Of course.
Now, personally, just again, because I'm not an esports gamer, I usually think League of Legends. Whenever I think of championships, I'm surprised Halo wasn't the Halo World Cups and everything weren't in there. But as far as like worldwide variety, everyone knows about League of Legends.
Yeah,
it's a massive universe behind it. I feel like that will take the cake this year. Personally.
Probably. Yeah, probably. I mean, League of Legends is just so big. It's like everybody knows what League of Legends is. Even non-gamers know what League of Legends is. That's the whole thing.
It kind of it played its part in kickstarting that genre of games, that over the top, like team strategy, objective games. Those type of like games like Smite, games like Dota, like games like Pokemon Unite. Like it's those type of games. It played its part in making it and adding to its popularity as a genre.
Next up is best esports coach. And again, we don't know too much about these guys.
So, like the nominees this year were Evil Geniuses coach Christine Potterchi, Team Falcons coach for the Counter-Strike, Danny Zonic Sorensen, Jordan Gumba Graham from the Florida Mayhem Overwatch team, Remy XTQZZZ Quanium from Team Vitality, sorry, from Counter-Strike, and then Yoon Home Sun Young from JD Gaming of League of Legends. I personally, just because it had JD in the name, with my moniker JD the King on Twitch, I went with Yoon Home. Just because, again, League of Legends. Overwatch, it kind of like, I feel like it fizzled out personally as an overall game. Valorant isn't really there yet. It kind of fizzled out. Counter-Strike, I've never really got into it again, but League of Legends is something that I avidly watch. I avidly try to play with friends, and it's just an overall worldwide fan base.
Well said, Jojo. Well said.
And then, again, Evil Geniuses, Fnatic, Gaming Gladiators, JD Gaming, and Team Vitality, they're all nominated for best team, esports team, I believe is the nomination.
Yes. Best esports team.
I would say JD Gaming is going to be up there. I would say Fnatic would probably be a close second, just because Valorant is a very popular game in that community, and I don't know. It's a gut feeling for me, personally.
Okay. That's fair. Now we got the nominees for the best esports athlete. This one had 6 nominees instead of 5.
Yes. So this was a very it's a very diverse crowd here. We got Lee Faker saying Hayok. And again, if I butcher the name, guys, I do apologize. Matteo, Zaiwu, Turbo, Max, Demon One, Hazanoff, Paco Hydra, Rusa Wise, Parker, Ruler, Jay Huyuk, and then Philip, Imperialist, Hal, Dozen. I feel like Dozen or Hydra might actually take this, only because they both one plays Call of Duty, one plays Apex, and those are both still very popular games.
That's true.
And they both have very well diverse leagues. And they have a lot of popularity, unlike games like League of Legends, Valorant, CS:GO.
All right, and for best esports game, we have Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, PUB Mobile, and Valorant.
So I'm surprised that PUBG Mobile actually made this cut.
PUBG.
I was very shocked about that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I was too.
You don't hear a lot about PUBG anymore. You really don't. But
I feel like it's going to be League of Legends. I don't know.
Honestly, I also agree with that. I was going to say League of Legends or Valorant. It's going to come down to those two games.
All right, on to the next category. We have Content Creator of the Year. That is Iron Mouse, People Make Games,
Quackity,
okay,
Quackity, Spring, and Sofer KP or Sofer PK. Now,
I'll be honest, I have no idea who these
Cypher
people
PK.
are.
Neither do I, but honestly, I feel like it would come down to Cypher PK or Quackity.
Okay.
Or honestly, Iron Mouse even too, because VTubers are extremely popular.
Oh yeah,
especially on Twitch, Twitch, TikTok. I see them 24/7. I'm friends with a few of them actually, and they're like they have a really very energetic community. They bring a lot of energy to the table because of the VTube. So I feel like it's going to come down to one of those three.
All right, and the nominees for the most anticipated games are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8. I feel like this is going to be between Star Wars Outlaws and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I would go Outlaws too. I'll be honest. I would go Outlaws.
Outlaws, I feel like is going to be a top contender. I was surprised that Hades is actually getting a sequel, and I'm very happy about that.
I am too.
Final Fantasy Rebirth, 7 Rebirth, I'm not surprised, but honestly, I would not rule out Tekken in this category.
No, I wouldn't either. I think Tekken's the dark horse.
Tekken is most certainly the dark horse in this category. Yeah. A lot of people, especially after all the confirmations of people that are coming back from previous games.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be a big release, and it's nothing against Like a Dragon, it's nothing against Hades 2, but they just don't have the crowd backing.
Yeah. That Tekken 8 because Tekken 8 Tekken's been a long time. Yeah. Tekken's just been a long time franchise. I mean, this was out during the PlayStation 1 days.
Dude, I still main King whenever I play a Tekken game. It's just the creativeness behind the characters that you play as, the storylines that you get to see. It's a lot there. It's a lot of fun. It's the graphics are amazing no matter what game you play. Ever since like my first Tekken game I played was Tekken 6, and I fell in love right after that.
Wow.
But Star Wars Outlaws is going to have so much to offer. It's going to be hard I feel like it is going to be very difficult at this point, unless we hear more from either one of those other two games, for anything to compete.
This is supposed to be that massive open world Star Wars game, right?
Yes, it is. And it's like, I mean, you're not, it's no like simming like the liftoff either. You actually get to fly through space. You actually got to like go to other planets and everything. You get to experience that as a Star Wars character, and you get to play as a bounty hunter, which makes it even more like, it makes you even more in tune with the world, because there's a lot that bounty hunters do behind the scenes in Star Wars universe.
Didn't we talk about this in like our first ever podcast episode before we even knew what it was going to be called?
When we first heard the rumor, I remember us talking about it.
Yeah.
We talking about it with other friends that are Star Wars fans.
All right. Before we go on for an hour talking about this, let's move on to the next category, which is best adaptation.
This was I loved this. Like Castlevania Nocturne, the anime from Netflix, got nominated. Gran Turismo got nominated. The Last of Us series on HBO got nominated. The Mario Brothers movie rightfully got nominated. And Twisted Metal, although it went underneath the radar on Peacock, got nominated. Now,
how did Twisted Metal turn out as good as it did?
Because it's Twisted Metal. They got the casting right, and it comes down to the casting. It comes down because it's a demolition game, but it also has a goofy aura around it. Like that's what made it a great franchise.
And it's the same thing with Gran Turismo. We found out that this was not going to be like a movie about the game, but a movie about like, what was it? Like the
F1 driver. Yeah, it was literally about the F1 driver that started on Forza and games like that, and then became pro.
It's like, okay, it's a biopic, and that just made a whole lot more sense. And that
it does. For racing games, it makes a lot more sense. Now, Need for Speed was a great movie, but during its time. But like honestly, you kind of like with a game like Gran Turismo or like a Forza game, you want to do a biopic, because there are racers that went off of that. With this category specifically, I'm not going to rule out Castlevania. I'm not much of a Castlevania fan. I can't really speak on the franchise.
We've gotten 2 Castlevania animes from Netflix, and both are amazing.
Yeah, so anime, I always will back an anime. It's just
same here.
Castlevania, I'm not familiar with it, so I can't really talk too much about it. But
I've seen the original Castlevania anime on Netflix. I have not seen Nocturnal yet. Which
I will back the Last of Us series strictly for Daddy Pedro.
I think it's going to be The Last of Us in the end,
or it's gonna definitely come down to that or the Mario movie, because the Mario movie blew everyone's expectations out of the water, and they're going to be setting up an entire universe around it. Mark my words, they're going to be making a Smash Bros. Universe. They have the back. They started it right, and they have Nintendo has so many characters that they could branch into.
Yeah.
And there's so many good voice actors out there. They could really make a franchise out of it.
Okay, 2 things. 1, how perfect was the casting of Jack Black as Bowser?
That was such a great cast. Everyone and he had his Jack Black moment in the movie, which is what made me laugh my tail off. And it just was overall. I was with the castings. I was more skeptical about Keegan-Michael Key as Toad.
Really? I was
because Toad has such a high pitch, raspy voice.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Seth Rogen playing Donkey Kong, I saw that going perfectly. I was surprised. Not a lot unless you were like a true Donkey Kong fan, you didn't pick this up, but they included the DK rap from DK64.
Oh, I did not know
in
that.
the movie.
I still have not seen the movie yet. I'll be honest, I've not seen the movie yet, and I really need to.
When I went to saw, I played the DK rap on the way home, just because and I still have my 64 copy too. It's still it's still like one of my favorite games.
Oh wow!
Day, I love that what they did with Donkey Kong. I love that they included Grandpappy. I love that they didn't just keep the Mario mushrooms to the Mario world, and that they branched a lot of stuff out.
Yeah,
it's going to be very underrated at the awards, and I give that and The Last of Us the best of luck with their nominations.
Okay, the second thing, what do you think about the Mario voice actor retiring?
I think it's a good transition. I do. I think it's time. He's been doing it for, think about it, like almost 30 to 40 years now. And
from the very beginning.
it's time for somebody to take a step back, but I would be very particular if I was Nintendo. I'd be very particular on who you pick as a replacement.
Oh yeah.
You're going to be, because everyone is so used to that voice that it's going to be hard to like adjust.
He did a lot with a little.
He did a lot with something so simple.
Yeah.
It's
All
so
right.
true.
All right, moving on. Best multiplayer. Notice how Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was not here. Oh, wait, it wasn't eligible. That's right. It wasn't eligible. It came out too late.
So, I still wasn't nominated because I heard so many bad things about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Okay, we are not going to get into a hate fest on Modern Warfare 3. We can do that later. We can do that during the year in review.
Analytically, I'm just saying I heard so many negative reviews about the campaign.
When we do our year in review, we can talk negative about Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah.
Moving on, Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Give it to Baldur's Gate 3.
I'm not ruling out Nintendo.
Good point.
I'm not going to rule out Nintendo because they always find a sleeper cell in almost every category that they're in every single year. That's true. I'm also not going to rule out Party Animals either because they've been hyping that up for 3 years and it did not disappoint.
Let's be honest, in any other year,
Diablo.
These would be any other year, these would be the runaway. All 5 would be the runaway winner. But because of what the year is, this is going to be so close.
I'm not going to rule out I think Diablo 4 will beat out Baldur's Gate 3 strictly because it is a Blizzard game. And because it's Diablo. It's Diablo, which is one of their biggest sellers.
They did a fantastic job with it.
And they did an outstanding job with that game. That game was, I still have it downloaded. I have not played it in a while now, but I still have it downloaded because it is still stunning. The atmosphere is so engulfing. It is Baldur's Gate. And again, it's not Baldur's Gate's fault. It's a Dungeons and Dragons game. And not everyone is into tabletop RPGs.
That's true. That is true.
But it was a great game. And
no one expected Baldur's Gate 3 to be as good as it was. No one expected.
Baldur's Gate 3 blew everyone's expectations out of the water, but I don't.
Even the developers.
Even the devs. Yeah. But I still would not put it over Diablo 4.
Okay.
Because Diablo 4 just has so much more than just a campaign. It has
That's
PvP.
True.
It has gear with Mountain Dew. There's so many ways that you can unlock stuff, and there's so many ways you could play.
All right, let's move on to best.
Baldur's Gate 3 had better customization, though. I will say that.
Okay, you just had to get that in. Best sports / racing game: EA Sports, FC24, F123, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, Turbocharged, and the Crew Motorfest. I'm gonna give this one to. You know what? I'm gonna be bold. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2.
I'm not ruling that out. It's funny that you say that because I'm not ruling that out because it's a Hot Wheels game.
Yeah. I can't believe how good those 2 games turned out.
So the reason I'm gonna give you reasons for the Crew, basically all of them. EA FC24 is not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be a winner only because it lost its backing from FIFA.
Yeah,
and it's a whole new thing. It was admirable, but everyone wants FIFA. Everyone recognizes FIFA. They're going to be skeptical, just like they are with any other high-end sports game. Forza Motorsport is always a great game, but I feel like I
heard this was not one of the best ones. That's what I heard.
The Crew, I just feel like never had the hype that Motorsport and Turismo ever had. I feel like F123 will win this award this year.
Okay.
My reason being that Formula One has taken has piqued so much interest in the sports community. It's become really popular. I mean, if Gran Turismo kind of proves it. It's kind of like everyone's making movies about. There's a lot more Formula One movies out there than just normal racing movies nowadays. Only because and for good reason. It's a very engulfing sport, and the F1 devs never disappoint, and it's year-round fun. And that's my reason that I feel like it's going to win this year.
Only thing I'm going to say is the last few years we've seen all but one of these games be a sport game, and the only one was a racing game, and the racing game always won. This time we have only one sport game,
and 4
And-
racing games.
Yeah, that's what's going to make this.
It's going to make it
interesting.
interesting for sure.
I don't remember a sports game actually winning this category. I'll be honest, I don't remember.
I want to say it's been a really long time, I think, since one really has.
Which is sad when you think about it.
I mean, I feel like the last good one worth mentioning is NCAA Football 14, but of course, like NCAA is. I know they're still reworking that, but I'm hearing rumors it's going to be like Madden, which kind of makes me skeptical about it. But that's a conversation for another time. You know?
Yeah, we can talk about that another time. Best sim/strategy game: Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, City Skylines 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4.
I'm giving it to Pikmin 4.
Yeah, I feel like you have to go to Pikmin 4.
It's a share site.
Although Fire Emblem Engage
Yes.
and City Skylines 2 definitely make a case for it as well.
I'm not disagreeing with Fire Emblem. I'm not much of a cities guy, so I don't really know.
Neither am I, but
market.
I've heard great things about the game. That's why
Agreed.
I say that.
I second that. But like Pikmin is just one of those, like, yeah,
anybody can pick up a Pikmin
but
game.
Anyone can also pick up a Pikmin game. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Point in case.
When a Pikmin game comes out, you know it's going to be good.
Oh yeah, and especially since it's been a really long time since the last one came out.
So I think this
riding that wave.
So yeah, I think it's gonna be a runaway winner. That's what I'm gonna say.
Absolutely.
All right,
I agree.
All right, best family game: Disney Illusion Island. Sorry,
Never
Party
heard of that
Animals,
game.
Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, and Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
I'm
You
giving
know
this
what?
to
Let's
Party
go
Animals or
between
Sonic.
Pikmin 4. Huh?
I'm good. You go first. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. You go.
That's
Go
okay.
ahead.
It's okay. It's okay. Dude, we cut each other off all the time.
I know. That's
That's just what makes this podcast great. It's just so chaotic.
I've
Anyway,
never heard of Disney Island Illusion. Or
I
Illusion
have.
Island.
I have, and I would put that as 5th in this
I
category.
put that as 5. I would.
I think between Pikmin 4 and Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and I think it's just going to be how they want to vote on this one. Like if Pikmin 4
Yeah, it
does
depends on
win
the
best, if Pikmin 4 does win the previous category, then they might just give the Super Mario Brothers Wonder. This is why I would think that, just because it's been such a great year of gaming, that they want to try to spread these awards around and try not to have like a heavy winner. Like
Normally,
last
I
year,
would
we saw
say-
God of War Ragnarok won a lot of those awards.
Normally, I would say Mario or Party Animals, only because there's a lot of hype. But honestly, I'm gonna give it to Sonic Superstars, because
I could see that too.
they're reinventing Sonic as a co-op platform, and that prides itself on speed prides itself mainly on speed and how you get through it the fastest, and it also has some of the more fun boss fights. It's nothing against Mario games, but this is the first that we're seeing with Sonic, and it got nothing but positivity behind it and backing from the Sonic community, which is a very critical community. So I have high hopes that will win, if not get beat out by Mario Wonder.
All right, best fighting game, we have God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, and Street Fighter 6. Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter, but don't be shocked with Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, because I've heard good things about that, but I feel like this is combat versus fighter.
It's gonna come down to combat or Street Fighter 6. It could go either way. It depends if you're a Capcom or another Realm guy, but honestly, I will give the edge to Mortal Kombat 1.
I feel like you
only
have to.
because it's more user friendly.
Yeah.
It is a little bit more user friendly. Although people were getting creative with pulp culture references with Street Fighter 6 and their customization. You have your own character and everything. But when I play a fighting game, I do play it for an already preset amount of characters, a good story, and good fighting mechanics. And Mortal Kombat 1 had all three, and I was not disappointed with the entire playthrough.
Mortal Kombat 1's been on my hit list since it came out. I want to get that at some point. I just don't know when.
It's so Diggs. I will tell you, from someone who's beat the campaign multiple times, the replayability of it is amazing.
Okay.
Not to mention they brought back Invasion. So I don't know if Invasion was a game mode. I cannot remember if it was a game mode or not, but they basically made like an alternate post storyline where you go through all these realms and everything, and you can it's a level system to it too. So it's a lot of fun. very user friendly, and they didn't forget about previous timelines, like those included with Mortal Kombat 11 and previous as well.
Okay.
So they tied it in, and they did a really good job about it. And Mortal Kombat fans got what they've been waiting for years, and that's all I will say about the matter.
All right. Best RPG, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield.
Starfield was great, but I'm giving it to Baldur's Gate 3.
I am too, but I will have Final Fantasy 16 as second place. That's what I would have. And Lies of P, that turned out
I would
amazing.
have Starfield. I would honestly have Starfield at second, have Final Fantasy at third, and then Lies of P at four. Only because Lies of P is a Souls game, and that is not everyone's cup of tea, and it can make people rage. But it is. I heard it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I love the reinvention of the Pinocchio fairy tale. I love it.
I love that as well.
I love it when people take chances with like classic stories and stuff
and
like that.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I love when people do like steampunk stuff. It just it resonates.
All right. For best action adventure, Alan Wake 2, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Jedi Survivor, Tears of the Kingdom. I'm biased. I'm going with Spider-Man 2. I'm biased. So, I will say it.
Everyone that I know will say Tears of the Kingdom but I personally, only because the only one I played out of all these was RE4. RE4 was, even though RE4 is great, I know about Jedi Survivor, and Jedi Survivor, I feel like it's going to come down to Jedi Survivor or Tears of the Kingdom. Only because, again, Nintendo finds a way every year.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against Alan Wake 2. It just came out. It's still walking and hasn't ran yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's still fresh. Not a lot of people got a chance to play it before they really got to nominate them, or chance to nominate. It's kind of like it's going to be like the Christmas game of the year.
I could see that. Yeah. And with and with Spider-Man 2, that game is just selling fast. I think it was like first.
My friend got
5 million copies already.
My friend ended up getting a collector's edition, got the 19 inches of Venom set.
Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Remnant 2. The Hi-Fi Rush, I think, is going to be up there. I just don't know. I'll be honest.
I'm giving this one to Armored Core. I'm going to give this one to Armored Core 6. I saw gameplay of it. It was breathtaking what I was seeing.
Don't forget, this is From Software.
Yeah, it is also a From Software game, and they make nothing but bomb stuff, and it's nothing against Dead Island 2. That's a great franchise, but they waited too long to release the sequel.
I wish Meliodas was here. He could give us his opinion on Dead Island 2.
He would be hyping Dead Island 2 up right now, but I feel like he wouldn't disagree that it should be a copy. It should definitely be his top 3 easy, but the number 1 contender I feel like would be debatable.
And I've heard good things about Remnant 2, and Ghost Runner is a IP I've wanted to try for a while.
I heard good things about Ghost Runner. I just never played it.
Same here.
There's better. I feel like there are just overall better games.
Yeah. Okay, so for best VR/AR, we have Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Humanity, Resident Evil Village VR mode, and Synops.
I have a feeling I know what you're gonna say, but I want to hear it from you.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be between Resident Evil Village and Horizon Call of the Mountain.
That went the absolute opposite. I thought for sure you're just gonna full on say just Horizon Call of the Mountain.
The only reason I didn't.
Yeah, go ahead.
The only reason I didn't is because I know Resident Evil Village VR mode was such a people really wanted, and I couldn't think of the word, but
my
people
friend
were waiting on that.
Terrified of what it looked like, because they teased it, but they teased it with the chainsaw, with the village, the introduction village fight, and it was like the VR going up against the chainsaw guy with the knife, and my friend was terrified of seeing that. And honestly, that's the only reason why I'm giving RE Village. Oh wait, it's RE Village?
Yeah, it's RE Village VR.
No, I'm giving that to Horizon then. I was definitely looking. I saw it. I was thinking 4, but honestly, if it's Village, I'm giving it the Call of the Mountain.
Yeah,
I'm definitely giving it the Call of the Mountain. Then that kind of just like we want RE4 VR. We don't want Village VR.
Yeah.
We want RE4.
Although I will say this, Gran Turismo 7 is a game that is perfect for VR. Just
is.
racing games in general, are perfect for VR. So I wouldn't be surprised by that
Beautiful.
either. But I just love the Horizon series so much. I have to give it to Call of the Mountain.
I'm gonna say this, Diggs. I'm genuinely surprised that Among Us VR did not make this cut. Because that took.
When did that come out?
It came out. I want to say it came out this year, but or within the adequate parameters of these nominations. But I feel like it was way more popular than Humanity because I never heard of Humanity. I never heard of Synapse, but I feel like this would have been a better nomination. That's just my opinion. It was very popular in the VR Switch community. That's my only basis behind it.
For best mobile game, we have Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I have no idea how to pronounce this.
Honkai Star Rail.
Thank you. Monster Hunter Now and Terra Null.
I'm giving it to Honkai. Honkai Star Rail. I'm giving it to Honkai Star Rail. There's nothing against the
I'm just going to give it the
community, Hello Kitty, or Monster Hunter, but Honkai's marketing was riding the wave of everyone's excitement and obsession with Genshin Impact, and that's what I think made it so popular and gave it the traction that it needed to get a good start.
Okay, you convinced me. I'll just give it to that game then, because I was going to say something else, but now I'm just gonna give it to that because you convinced me.
And it's a mobile game. We're thinking mobile games, and mobile games have very limited graphic.
So for best debut indie game, we have Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Vemba, and Viewfinder.
I gave mine to Vemba, personally.
Vemba. Sorry, I pronounced it wrong. Although I did hear good things about Viewfinder as well.
I also did as well, but I would go Vemba only because of the representation it has for the Middle Eastern and in Southeast Asian community. I would say it. There's not a lot of representation in there for a lot of games. And I think it did a really good job in projecting that and giving us something that was worthwhile.
Okay. That's fair.
I also heard good things about Cocoon though, too. So it's like, we'll see. We'll have to see.
Okay. I don't know if you heard about a little bit of controversy with Best Independent Game. I'm just going to say the nominees and then I'll talk about it a little bit.
I did.
Okay. Can
I'm not too much, but I know that was like that was on the through the grapevine.
Yeah. So we have Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder. And I believe it was Dave the Diver that had the controversy because it's technically not an indie game. And yet Baldur's Gate 3 is technically an indie game.
I gave this one to Sea of Stars, though. Only,
yeah, I think a lot of people are. So
it's just kind of like it gives you that Stardew Valley feel. And it's just like it's kind of like a true simulation indie. It's like it makes you feel good. It makes you feel tingly on the side.
Best community support, we have Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 20.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2,
to
Final Fantasy 16, and No Man's Sky.
Cyberpunk should not be on this list, in my opinion.
Really?
In my opinion, this should not be on this list because when I think support, I do not think of Cyberpunk because of how long it took them to actually patch their game. When I think of support, I give it to Destiny 2. They're like
really?
on the money all year long. They are catering to their fans. No Man's Sky is like it's hit or miss, but Final Fantasy would probably be a close second there, in my opinion.
So for best ongoing game, we have Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 16, Fortnite, Genshin Impact. I think Genshin Impact won this last year.
Yeah, so I think the dark horse this year will be Cyberpunk in this category. Right. I think Fortnite will actually steal the show, though.
I do too. I think this is going to be Fortnite Island. Because haven't they put in like a lot of content this year for Fortnite?
They put a lot of good content. They did a lot of good collaborations. Not to mention, they also just brought back the original map and kept in zero build with it. And I think that's going to be the tipping point.
Now, this one is one of my favorite categories. It is Games for Impact. I absolutely love this category. So A Space for the Unbound, Chance of, I don't know how to pronounce that, Jojo, do you?
Chance of Sinar.
Thank you. Goodbye Volcano High, Chia, Vimba again, and then Terra Null again.
I gave this one to Vemba again. Honestly, I gave it to Vemba.
Honestly, I could see.
It's Chia.
Honestly, I could see that. I could see Chia. I could see Goodbye Volcano High. Really, all these are good nominees.
They're great nominations.
Yeah.
They are.
Now, Chia's a game that I've been wanting to play for a while. That's a game I wanted to play for a while.
It looks spectacular.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Same here. Okay. Innovation and accessibility. Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6. Again, I'm going to be biased. I'm going to go with Spider-Man 2, only because I know PlayStation does a great job. Just the PlayStation studios do a great job with accessibility. I mean, we talked about that earlier with Naughty Dog, with what they did with The Last of Us Part 2. So that's why I'm going to go Spider-Man 2. I don't know. Who did you vote for, Jojo?
So I gave it, funny enough, I gave it to Diablo.
Okay.
I gave it to Diablo 4 because it's just, they cater to everyone. And it's like, there's so many different ways you can play the game. There's so many different atmospheres, so many vibes that you can create in this game. And I would say that or Mortal Kombat 1 is going to be the dark horse, only because there's so much customization. There's so many styles you can go with. And it's gonna be a lot. And they make it easy. They make it very accessible and very easy to understand for the new generation too.
So for best performance, we have Ben Starr from Final Fantasy 16.
Cameron Monaghan.
Yeah, for Survivor. Idris Elba for Cyberpunk 2077. Phantom Liberty.
Tony LeBird.
Thank you for Alan Wake 2. Neil Newbon from Baldur's Gate 3. And Yuri Lowenthal from Spider-Man 2. I'm giving this one to Yuri.
This could go any way. This nomination class could go any way. I feel
like it's going to be Idris because he's the biggest name, but I would give it to Yuri because he had to do so much in that game because he's essentially playing two characters. He's playing Peter Parker and he's playing Venom. So and he does that so well.
I'll go to the polar opposite there. I'm going to go with Cameron Monaghan.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Cameron Monaghan because of how popular, how popular Star Wars games, especially Jedi Survivor, how popular that game was. And just because of the marketing and everything at the convention that went behind it. Now, I will say that Melanie LeBird will be the dark horse of this category. I feel like she will be the one that creeps up and potentially get to higher voting. Only because of how good she was, and I heard that she was in Alan Wake 2.
And again, don't be surprised if Idris Elba wins because he's the biggest name.
But it's like that's like saying, oh, Keanu Reeves said this game could be good, it's gonna be great. And next thing you know, it was a Dookie launch. It's like, it's up in the air. It's a tip ball.
Yeah, and I still remember last year with I forgot his name, but the voice of Kratos winning and the long speech that he did.
That was a well-deserved long speech. Yeah. I remember that man in Stargate.
Oh yeah. And with everything that he went through during the development, like if you understand at one point he couldn't walk during the development and they let him recover and then resumed it. So that was Stand Up by Santa Monica. That was Stand Up by PlayStation. And that was a well-deserved.
I agree.
And we ran on a tangent a little bit. I'm sorry about that. We need to speed this up a little bit, I think. Best audio design, we have Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4. Give it Resident Evil 4. Give me Resident Evil 4.
I'm gonna give it to Dead Space.
I can see that too.
I'm gonna give it. That's fair. I think it could go either way. I'm glad that you didn't say Spider-Man 2 with this because
I was not going to say Spider-Man 2 with that just because
very lackluster.
Yeah, because look, horror games, you have to make sure the audio is great. The audio design has to be amazing.
It has to be perfect.
Yeah.
For RE4, especially because of how visually that game is.
Yeah.
But I would say the only reason I give Dead Space the edge is because of if you're a Dead Space fan, you completely understand that game. You can literally get shanked from behind at any given moment. You could get rampaged and blitzed at any given time in that game, and you could have the audio full blast, you could have a spatial awareness in your headphones, and you still will not see it coming. The way they disguise everything in that game is particular, and it's beautiful. And that's the only reason, because otherwise I would have gone RE4. That's the only reason I do not go RE, is because Dead Space is in the category.
Okay, so best score in music, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, Tears of the Kingdom. I feel
I'm
like
giving
it's
it
going
to
to be
Tears.
Tears of the Kingdom.
It's gonna be Tears. No,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
just
Tears.
because-
Nintendo does never miss it with the music.
I know,
bro.
especially with Zelda. They know what they're doing with Zelda. I feel like you have to give it to them every time they're nominated.
Dude, just watching a teaser trailer for the game made me
Exactly.
excited to play the game. Like the da da da. It was
Exactly.
great.
Okay,
Makes me
best
excited to play it this year.
Okay, best art direction: Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, Tears of the Kingdom, Hi-Fi Rush. I mean,
I'm gonna give it. So it's a 3-way tie for me.
okay,
I'm giving it to Alan Wake 2. I'm giving it to Tears of the Kingdom or Mario. No, I'm sorry, 2-way tie. I'm gonna give it to Tears or I'm gonna give it to Alan Wake.
okay.
Because Alan Wake is always a visually stunning game, no matter which Alan Wake you play. And then Tears of the Kingdom, it's Zelda. It's a Zelda game. You're gonna have beautiful artwork in the Zelda game.
Yeah.
And Mario just, I don't know. It doesn't resonate the same as it used to. And that's a personal thing with me. I know I know there are people out there that love the new Mario game. It's just personally, I resonate more with Zelda nowadays than I ever have.
Okay, so for best narrative, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, Marvel Spider-Man 2. I don't know. Jojo, what do you think?
So I want to say I think I gave it to I honestly I would love Alan Wake to win this.
I was thinking Alan Wake 2 as well. That's what I was thinking.
Alan Wake 2, the story in any Alan Wake game is great. Baldur's Gate is not really like a story-based game. You kind of make your own story. So it's going to be different every time. So it's never a hard set ending. It's never hard set what you're going to experience. Like every playthrough is going to be different. Cyberpunk, I'm always so skeptical about because it's Cyberpunk, it's CD Projekt Red. They took so long to get the game to where it needed to be. And then with Marvel's Spider-Man, as good as Spider-Man games are, I feel like Alan Wake just beats it out by that much.
And don't forget about Final Fantasy 16 because
and Final Fantasy, it's just I haven't played it, so I can't really speak on it. But
I've only played the demo, so I can't.
Every
speak
Final
on it
Fantasy
myself.
game is different, and I think Final Fantasy will probably be the dark horse.
Yeah. So for best game direction, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, Tears of the Kingdom. I'm gonna go Baldur's Gate 3.
I would go Tears of the Kingdom. What nominee section is this?
Game direction.
So I would go Tears of the Kingdom. I wouldn't sleep on. I feel like Tears of the Kingdom is gonna slap by and sneak this in.
Okay.
And get this one. I would also Baldur's Gate is a close second for me, but Zelda is that it's just that game. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
It's a fair assumption.
Okay, so now we've reached Game of the Year. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, Tears of the Kingdom. Any other year, these would be runaway favorites. I told this to Meliodas, he said trash. That's literally what he said, trash. But I don't think so. I think
I don't think Mario should have been in there. Personally, I don't. I personally don't
if
think
anyone,
Mario
it would have been
there.
Mario, and I think that's the first one. That's the first one I'm taking out.
It's in there because it's a Mario game.
Exactly.
It's in there because it's Mario, and everyone knows Mario.
Yeah, and it's not as groundbreaking as Odyssey was, so I got to take Wonder out.
I also took Wonder out of my running.
I hate to say this, but I feel like Resident Evil 4 has to be taken out second, only because it's a remake, and I think they try to stay away from remakes as Game of the Year.
So I disagree. I actually had that higher on my list.
Okay.
I had that in my top. I actually had that in my top 3, actually.
Okay.
That's fair. I took Alan Wake 2 out only because it's a slept-on game. It didn't have the clout that Baldur's Gate, Tears, Spider-Man, and RE4 had. It was fun, but it just didn't have enough time to build that clout.
Yeah, and I feel
it wasn't marketed properly.
Yeah, I feel like the games left in my list, I think that's the least talked about, or at least
it is. It's not talked about enough. It's a great game nonetheless, but it wasn't talked about enough to put it in my top 3.
Now, Tears, great game, but Breath of the Wild 1 in 2017. I have yet to see a game in the same series win Game of the Year. Like 2 games in the same series win. So I feel like they're going to shy away from Tears of the Kingdom just because of how great this year was. And because if it goes between Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, and Tears, there's a case for any of those. So it would leave Baldur's Gate 3 and Spider-Man 2, and it's just pick them.
So this is going to be severely controversial.
Go
I actually, my top 3 was RE4, Spider-Man, and Tears. I ruled Baldur's Gate out.
Okay.
Baldur's Gate was a great game, but again, it's based solely around RPG elements in D&D, and not everyone is a fan of those types of games.
It's true.
And actually, funny enough, I put RE4 over Spider-Man 2, only because it might be a remake, but the story is not the same. The overall story is not the same. They're going off of the new universe. They're going off the reboot universe, and the story you couldn't like put it down.
That's true.
You could, and not to mention that Separate Ways just came out, and it's an expansion of the game. Mercenaries got added into RE4, which was an amazing move by Capcom. And also just made it easier for players to get unlockables. And then the Separate Ways DLC, which I just finished on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/JD2KingTV, for those of you who are ever interested in watching, by the way. And it was amazing, and it did not let anything down. Everything that was missed from RE4, the original RE4, was in Separate Ways, and they capitalized, and it was an amazing playthrough. But I will give Game of the Year to Tears of the Kingdom for multiple reasons. One, the story was breathtaking. Two, the what you could do, the ways that you could craft, all the creations that I was seeing throughout TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, like it was all everywhere was Tears of the Kingdom. And then the sound design in incorporation with the story, the customization, and the layout of the world. It expanded. It took what Breath of the Wild built and made it 1,000 times better. And it's a longer game. It's a longer game. It's longer to enjoy than Spider-Man and RE.
True.
Nintendo
I just don't think you can go wrong with Game of the Year.
The options.
Yeah.
They're all great options.
Except for Wonder. I think
except for one. I will agree with you on
yeah,
Wonder.
Except for Wonder, but any of these games, I would not be upset if they won Game of the Year. I would just give it Spider-Man 2 just because I want to see Insomniac win a freaking Game Award. You hear me, Jeff Keighley and Game Award voters? Give Insomniac a freaking Game Award. I don't care what it is. Just give them one.
Funny enough, Diggs, I feel like Insomniac will win an award, but not with Spider-Man 2, because they are also making the Wolverine game.
I could see that too.
And I feel like they will get it with the Wolverine game. And it's nothing against Spider-Man games, period. But Wolverine isn't much. I feel Wolverine is a more exciting character. Spider-Man is a great character. He's funny. He can do so much. Like, he has great villains. But Wolverine just doesn't give an F. Yeah, and he's just bad to the bone. He has so many different awesome costumes, and he also has some of the most underrated villains in Marvel. Like Silver Samurai, Magneto, Sabretooth. Any villain that the X-Men have ever gone up against, as well as he fought the Hulk and has lived. He has lived legitimately since the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
He's been alive since the 1770s. Has recovered from amnesia. He's met Gambit. He has met Gambit, which we still haven't gotten a movie about, and I'm still waiting on that. I'm having high hopes for that. We need, and it's been anticipated since they teased it, and if they make it anything like Origins, and then they combine it with something fresh, they're gonna have a really good thing going, and then they'll be able to make an X-Men. I hope that they do make an X-Men.
Yeah,
they need
what Insomniac has done. They have basically carried the PlayStation 5 since it came out. Let's be honest, they have, and every game that
they played a role. They played a role.
Yeah,
but Ghost of Tsushima was a great game. Ragnarok was great. There's a lot of PlayStation. and Sony have a lot of good developers and studios at their disposal. However, but I will say that Spider-Man does, like Insomniac, they do play their role in making them. They are definitely their most popular right now, but I definitely would not rule out Ghost of Tsushima. There's another Samurai game that's coming out in the near future for them that's going to be great for them.
It's Rise of Ronin, right? Rise of Ronin,
something like that.
Yeah.
It's the one. It looked super. I cannot. It was at State of Play, one of the State of Plays, and it was really, it looked really good. And I was upset to find out it was only going to be on PlayStation. I was like, and there's the reason why I'm getting PlayStation, because I want to get it. I want to play it.
One thing I cannot wait to see what trailers we're gonna get. I'm hoping if we get a Spyro trailer, I will fall out of my seat.
If we get a new Spyro game, I will actually be very happy about that. I would also be all right with getting a new Ratchet and Clank, or a new Jak and Daxter.
Yeah.
I would also, what would be this would be awesome if this happens. And I've said this multiple times on multiple of our different podcasts and everything, but legitimately, Sly Cooper 5.
Every Sly fan wants
Sly 5.
Will you please give us a new Sly Cooper game? All right. Let's wrap this up right now.
I know.
I am Diggs Gaming. That is Jojo. Jojo,
yes.
Say your Twitch name one more time.
Guys, I am Jojo. I also go by the moniker JD the King. My Twitch is JD the King TV. I have Master Chief mods. I'm a variety streamer on my side. If you guys like a chill environment, like hanging out with a Twitch dad, and like somebody who loves the anime Bleach, you'll fit right in. We like to have a good time and have a good laugh. That's Diggs.
I will leave a link to his Twitch in the description box. So you guys can follow him. Please do. He is a great Twitch streamer. And as always, we will see you guys next time.